survey analysis of NHS staff in which female surgeons, the third, say they have been sexually assaulted by male surgeons, and the story gets worse. Let's talk to a woman who works in the NHS. She knows about the culture of the NHS. She's community pharmacist Thorrun Govind. Good afternoon, Thorrun.
Good afternoon. Yes, I mean, this is concerning. This was 1,434 people responded to this survey. 63% of the women had been the target of sexual harassment from colleagues. 11% of the women had reported physical contact related to career opportunities. And 30%.
In other words, you look after me and I'll get you a promotion or something like that.
That's, yeah, career opportunities, yes. And then 30% of the women had been sexually assaulted by a colleague. This is outrageous. This is shocking, and I echo some of the words that the Royal Colleges have been echoing here. We all go to work and we should feel safe in our work environment. And, you know, let me just go over what sexual harassment even can include. And ACAS, who are the experts who come to employment tribunals, for example, you know, that can include flirting, gesturing, sexual remarks, asking questions about someone's sex life.
I think it goes a lot more serious than this in this analysis. I mean, this analysis was by the University of Exeter, the University of Surrey, and the Working Party on Sexual Misconduct in Surgery. Now, you've got women, I've seen women surgeons today saying they're in the operating theatre. They are operating with a male surgeon, and the male surgeon is basically touching them up and making propositions to them. And some of these ladies are saying, well, I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to save this patient's life. You know, and there's this guy. This is extraordinary. How on earth does this happen? Is there, you have experience of the NHS, is there a culture of machismo, male dominance? Women are just sort of decorative. Is that the kind of culture that exists there?
I think there are some pockets of misogyny, and we can actually encounter this from some patients. In my own experience, for example, I have been passed over for a male colleague who they thought was the healthcare professional, the trained healthcare professional, because they saw a man there on that premises. I think there are issues of this, and we need to tackle this as a society. But some of these, what we're reading about and what's come out from this report, I think there really needs to be some detailed investigation as to how we're going to tackle this as a society. And we're focusing just here on the NHS, but obviously we need to go more widely because I'm sure there is more to come, perhaps from also private healthcare, which we need to consider.
I mean, when I saw this story this morning, you know, I've been doing this business for a long, long time. I don't often get shocked. But I was very shocked by this. The numbers are extraordinary. I mean, what you've got here is, as you said earlier, Thorrun, 29% of women in the operating theatre say they've experienced physical advances. More than 40% received uninvited comments about their bodies, and 38% told of unwanted sexual banter. And a third, though, that's 33%, said that they had essentially been assaulted in the operating theatre. I mean, first of all, I mean, how do these men get away with this?
And also the patients, I would be livid if that was going on, as if you're meant to be looking after me and caring for me and making sure that I'm safe as the patient, and you're too busy focusing on your sexual needs. I think it is absolutely outrageous. You know, these are grown adults as well. We shouldn't have to be expecting to educate, you know, trained, regulated professionals about how to behave themselves in a work environment like this, should we?
No, we should not. And how do you think this has come about? Why is there this culture of machismo in the NHS? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about men, entitled men, who seem to feel they have the right to treat their female colleagues like sexual objects for a bit of fun. How has that happened?
I think there needs to be, you know, training is not enough. We can train people and give them e-learning to the heart, you know, to the heart's content. But actually, what's the follow through with that? How are we actually dealing with complaints? How are we making sure that people feel that they're being listened to? And ultimately, how is it ending up to this situation where, you know, we're seeing issues of reported rapes even? Yeah. So how is this being even allowed to happen in a work environment?
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, Thorrun, I don't know what to say. I would ask you I agree with you. Would you agree with me? The NHS needs to set up an inquiry, an investigation into this. I'm hearing that the Health Committee at Parliament is looking into this as well. But we need to do something about this. We need to investigate this, and we need to stop it, don't we?
We need to make sure that people feel safe when they're at work, and also that as patients, if we're accessing services, that we feel safe as well.
Thorrun, extremely good to talk to you as always. That's Thorrun Govind, community pharmacist, talking about the NHS and what is clearly a culture where men, or at least some men, let's not demonise every male that works for the NHS or every male surgeon, but clearly way too many of them think they can get away with this kind of behaviour.